Good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good evening, or good night. This is Jen at JensArtyInclinations, a place to create, share, and play. Hi everyone. Today I'm doing some waterfall notes. So these are page edges. I love putting these into journals. Great way to use up a page. They're an interesting thing for someone to write a note on. Love it. Anyway, I just used, strips that we tear off the edges of pages. I just used those as the edges to stick all the little strips into. So this was a bit of a edge of a map page that I'd torn down, inked around the edges, and I'm just gluing down one side, and then see I've got all these little strips of paper that I've torn down on the left. Just spreading that bit of glue out with one of those pieces of paper, and I'm just grabbing whichever bit I feel like. I'm trying to do different pieces underneath each other and literally just sticking them onto that glue strip. So there is nothing rocket science here, kids. It's really, really easy, and they do add interest into your books. Plus, they're a little bit practical. You know how sometimes you've only got, you're writing the thing you need for the grocery list, or the thing you need to remind your friend about, or, even little passwords or whatever it is. Anyway, glue across the top of all of them once you've stuck them all down, and then I'm just pressing it down. And voila, that's it. That's that easy. And I decided that I'd do a few, which is what I'm doing with you today. Decided that I'd do a few so that I've got some in store, so I can just grab them when I'm a bit stuck for a page, maybe, or I don't want to do a lot of thinking. I've got something ready-made that I can just put straight into the book. Now, I often only do these when I can see my scraps building, and somehow you often end up with, little wonky scraps. These are all pretty similar sized squares because I did just grab some offcuts and tore them all down. But yeah, really easy, really, really easy. So many different ways you can do them. You don't have to have them with even edges, or you can make them perfectly even. Lots of different things. Here, I decided I'd staple up the edges. I'm doing a bit of steampunk as well nowadays, so I thought, well, that's probably a nice generic one to stick in something like a steampunk kind of journal. So as you can see, I've got all these little strips. I've already folded them in half. You saw how I used the ruler just to fold it up against so that it was easier to get a nice, long, straight fold. But the principle is the same on all of them. So this is like little printables of my own that, I made up and printed out and didn't work out and so forth. So, some of those are in there. All sorts of different stuff. It's great. It's a great way to use up things. So there you are. And in fact, it'd be quite effective if you had a whole book. And these have a bit of writing on, so maybe they are, sitting on the left of the page or the right of the page. But normally I don't use writing on these when I do them, so they can go either way, from the left or from the right. So, have a play, but have a think about that too when you're putting them together. So here we go. I'll just, let you see a whole heap of them being put together, and then I'll show you how I actually put them into books. Plus, it gave me another idea while I was doing this. So I'll save that. That's just towards the end. So if you want to, scroll through and see the second idea of how you can do these, then you can do that. Plus, I've got a different way to finish those little edges as well. So here, still fairly generic, but I figured I love a bit of lace, so I added a bit of lace. So imagine that on the side of a page, and then you've also got the lace bobbing out as a little page edge. So really cute. Now, I must mention, these are the idea that I got first from Pam at Paper Outpost. Honestly, a lot of her ideas, they're great basics for junk journals, and she's inspired me probably to start off because she made me feel like it was accessible and that you could just play, and it didn't matter if, it wasn't perfect. That was the whole idea. It gave it a nice individuality and a nice rustic edge. So yeah, always grateful to her for, helping me understand that, anyone can do this. It doesn't matter what you're doing it for. And in fact, I only decided to be brave enough and sell my first ever journal recently. I haven't even put a lot in my coffee shop yet, and I couldn't believe it when I sold a couple. So yeah, I mean, I like to do them just to give them away and just to create my own art. Wasn't that rickrack really cool on that one? It had a slight blue tinge underneath, as I say, lots of fun. These are just something that you can spend hours. So now I'm really glad. And I decided I needed another note tucked in that one. It probably wasn't an odd number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It wasn't, So that's obviously why it looked like that. Lovely bit of sari ribbon, hand-dyed sari ribbon. That'd be one of the pieces from Which Craft Do You Do? Love their shop. Hate opening up the web page because I always have to buy something. And I think we're pretty close to the edge here, just doing to the edge. We're on the edge, man. We're really on the edge. It feels a little bit like that. But just speeding up the little process here. And as you can see, it doesn't matter if you do just a few notes or you can do lots and lots and lots. Like you could really bundle them. But the nice thing is, because they're waterfalled, they still fit nice and flat in your actual journal. So, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's have a go at showing you how we can actually put something different together. So what you can do is you can actually just either glue or staple a big long strip. So we do, cannot remember for the life of me what they're called, but we do the lovely big long ribbons, and you could actually do this with these so that then you can pop them into any journal, any size. So, I mean, I'm putting the staples a little bit further apart here, and then I do go to the glue because you probably need your staples a little bit closer together. You could also do this just on one long strip and not roll it over like I was, not fold it over. But yeah, you can just glue them to each other. Or you could have the strips that I did, and you could glue all of those together. So you'll see what I mean. You just end up getting longer and longer and longer, and then all you have to do is just cut it down. And it can fit into any project. And it wouldn't have to be along the side of the page. It could be along the bottom of the page or along the top of the page, or maybe it's on the side of a journal card, or maybe it's on the inside back cover, to have some little tearaway notes. You might remember I did a video ages ago about little tearaways that, again, was an idea from Pam at the Paper Outpost. So, yeah, these are like a bigger version of that you can put together. Seriously fun and really, really fast and easy to put together. And as you can see, you can, fold them or roll them up if, just to stash them. And, that would be enough for probably 3 of my journals because I don't like to make them too big. Oh, sometimes I do, But anyway, here they all are together so that you can see all the little ones I made up. I only had made 2 ahead of time. And I think including the long strip and including putting them into the book, which we'll do next, gosh, it was half an hour, 45 minutes, and I had all of these that I had made up, including a couple with some extra edges, so some staples, and then the rickrack and the lace and the sari. So yeah, loads there to last, which is just lovely. Even though they're all with similar pages, they'll look... now, I did notice that my art glitter glue was not good on the rickrack, so I went back in with my 450 on that one. So that's something, just check once your glue's dried that it has worked. We've all experienced that. Sometimes that happens with your glue sticks, doesn't it, that it comes away. So it can be frustrating, and sometimes it'll be exactly the same glue stick, and it works beautifully this time, but it hasn't worked great on this lot. But anyway, this is me sticking it in a book. Now this one is longer than the book page. I did that on purpose. Gluing it right on the edge. Got a piece of paper behind it just so a scrap piece so that no glue seeps through when I press it down. And then all I'm doing is I'm actually cutting it down to the page. No reason why you have to cut it down to the page. You could actually leave it as that overlap. That's quite nice too, now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, this is how you can actually make it exactly fit to the page. And then there's no measuring, is there? It's really easy. You know how if I normally do this, I'm trying to measure it to the page and fit it in. Don't have to do that. Here, I accidentally cut the page in front of it as well, but that's okay. Still worked. There you are. Pretty cool. Adds a bit of colour with that edge, and you got some little note pages. Just showing you again, here's the next one. This one had staples on the back, so I did use 450 to make sure that it really stuck down, and I also buried my other glue on my desk, couldn't find it, so I knew that'd work. This is on the edge of a book page, both in the books and then all the other little versions that we did. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again real soon, I hope. And yeah, enjoy the pictures. Take care. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw today. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, keep creating. Enjoy.